And so when we're contextualizing the Fonofale model, it's really important that you do it for all those areas, the pools, not just the one. Because, a house that's only got 2 pools in the middle fall over. So again, well, so that was brought clear to me last week as we were discussing that. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's any other questions other than if you see this model in a picture, it's much more easier to then place yourself in that model somewhere in order to be able to use it.
Nice one. Thanks very much for that explanation. I guess, like one takeaway for me with, particularly with the 4 po or the 4 posts, the poles, it's just, at a very basic level, just being mindful of the different dimensions rather than focusing on one of them. I think from maybe a Palangi worldview or a Western academic worldview, we tend to focus on the cognitive and the mental side of things with education. But when I think about the Fonofale, it's just kind of a good memory jog that actually there's these other aspects, there's these other sides or dimensions to the learners that we're working with.
Yeah, absolutely. The way that Pacific families and communities socialize is really important in this model. And I think that's why it's great to have a fale there instead of, say, a banana leaf, because it captures, if you like, the holistic approach. We often say it's always good to be holistic, but then we draw up things that take us away. The imagery takes us away from what it should be. And I quite like the idea of culture being at the top and not the foundation, because it just means in that the family is the foundation. No culture is safe without the family. And it's important that all those cultural things are seen in perspective, in the right perspective. I've seen a model before, the Fonofale, where I'll just have a quick look at this diagram here. Age, sexuality, socioeconomic, and gender. That's what's under that other pole. So they've included some other things. You can actually add to that whatever you like, actually. So it's still made alive. So if a region can be in there, for example, you wouldn't use the Fonofale the same way as you would in Hawke's Bay, as you would in Tamaki Makaurau. So, you can dynamically use it as opposed to being rigid around just mental, spiritual, or physical.
Just a last question on this before we wrap this one up. Let's broaden it out. If someone gets interested in Pacific approaches and things that they can do, I'm thinking about tutors. A tutor's got Pacific people in their class and they want to know more. Are there some good resources out there, or what would be the first couple of things where you direct people to kind of go and get some more information?
Oh, honestly, today there's lots of information now that's available online around Pacific models. In fact, I just Googled Fonofale one day when I was looking, and it just came up with a number of resources. In fact, it gives you the key author of Fonofale, and Carl talks to this, and it's quite good. It's got a nice layout. It's got the introduction, the name, where Fonofale came from, why is there a need for Fonofale. It's got all these questions. So if you just Google that, the other models are the same. At the end of that Fonofale model, there's some further referencing to other models, and it's quite a large bibliography. It's quite a big bibliography of all the other models that are available. Yes, that's available definitely by that. The Health Research Council, that also has links to Pacific models. The Ministry of Pacific Peoples, they also have a connection to models. The Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Health. So once you go into those web pages and you go into Pacific, all the referencing comes up. Yeah, there's plenty there.
Nice one. Hey, thanks very much for that. I think we'll wrap things up there. And Pale Sauni, I thank you very much for today's content. Appreciate it. And we'll catch up in the next video where we'll draw things together with Pacific cultural safety in the classroom and in education and kind of unpack what that means. So cool. Thank you very much.